with the plummeting price of crude, what exactly does it mean for the North American energy renaissance? Consider Continental Resources, CLR. It's the oil and gas exploration production company, #1 leaseholder in North Dakota's Bakken Shale. We've been there. For years, this stock has been climbing. One of my favorite plays on this whole domestic energy situation. But in the past month and a half, as the price of crude has collapsed, Continental has seen its stock plummet from $80 down to $52 and change, where it is today. That's a monster 34% decline. At its Analyst Day last month, Continental raised its capital expenditure budget, plans to spend more money on what some regard as expensive well techniques. But that was nearly a month ago. Since then, the price of crude has been crushed like a tin can. And if it keeps falling, well, we have to wonder what point unconventional players like Continental will have to cut back on their drilling. Of course, if oil bottoms anytime soon, this stock will be incredibly cheap, worth buying right now. But until then, maybe some pain. Let's check in with Hamm, founder, chairman, and CEO of Continental Resources, and the man I think knows more about domestic oil than anyone in this country right now and where it is headed. Mr. Hamm, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hey.
How are you, Harold? Have a seat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
All right.
to be here.
We've got stories like Bloomberg today. Bakken drillers poised to curb exploratory spending. We've got people saying that at $80, $70, you're going to see dramatic cutbacks. Now, I'm sure some guys have some high finding costs, but is this the end of the renaissance?
It's not. I'm glad you talked about the renaissance instead of a boom, because it's not like a boom. It's got some of the tendencies of a boom. Okay. Everybody's busy and all that, but you can go at it a lot slower pace and still make money, and so that's where everybody will move back to, and that's basically a fallback position, because these fields like the Bakken, Permian, Eagle Ford, mostly are held by production today. So you can slow down, not lose leases, and harvest it, when the economics come back.
Will there be a big decline in the most exciting part of the job growth of this country, which is oil and gas?
Well, there could be some decline, because people they'll fall back a little bit and cut back, even though we raised CapEx because we announced the Springer. Right. The Springer play in Oklahoma is a huge, good play. It's overlaid, overlaying the Woodford play that we have there. So it's a big new play that we announced, but a lot of people lost that a little bit. And talking about the Bakken, they see us as the largest Bakken player, like you mentioned.
Right. Well, I'm looking at your cost discipline driving excellent margins note, and you've got total cash cost of first quarter 2014, $18.76. To me, there's a lot of money being made, even at these prices.
There is, and we have a good position up there. We'll make money, when everybody else can't.
Right.
In a lot of our areas, so it differs by operator.
Good point.
So the same break even by some operators, it won't be the same break even as others.
Okay, that's important. Now, what do you think is really going on in the world? Do you think it's this excess supply? How much of it is slower demand? Because I trust you. I don't trust a lot of what I read.
Well, good. I appreciate you making that comment. Really what's happening, and here we are, we're in a very good position here in the U.S. because we do have production growing and coming back, and we're always going to have turmoil in the Middle East.
Right.
And what if we didn't have this energy renaissance going on today in America and all the turmoil going on over there? We'd see higher prices, not lower prices. So what we've done is lower the world prices.
Right. And that's what's really happening, right?
That's really
because we're not importing nearly as much as we used to. It's got to go somewhere, but that's not necessarily a sign of a slowdown in this country.
No, it's not. And I think you'll see a couple things happen, as they squabble in the Middle East, because that's really what's going on, the fights between the Saudis and the Russians, Iran. Right. And so that's what we're seeing played out right now.
Is everyone dumping? I mean, Saudis apparently, I know they're going for price. They're letting the price war happen. Apparently, Iran today sided with Saudi Arabia. That was apparently the big decline in the future. So you hearing anything like that?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts here.
Let's put it that way.
It's not quite that simple. But anyway, a lot of moving parts. But, overall, we do not have a glut in the world. Okay. When you look around North Sea, you see that production is streaming down. It's extremely costly to work there. Other parts of the world, of course, we've been aware of Mexico and Venezuela and a lot of other places, Argentina, the production's been going down. So we don't have a glut in the world.
Very good point.
We just got some members of OPEC that's going to each other's throat right now.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Now, Howard, I know you, this personal stuff I usually don't go into. Reuters is saying Harold Hamm faces billions to a strange wife, revisions to his corporate website, saying that you used to take credit for a lot of things. Now you're saying maybe it wasn't things that you did. I don't know. I mean, this is a Reuters article. This is not my article.
Yeah, well, world prices of commodity prices affect us, just like everybody else, and certainly. And I'm glad to have that behind me, Jim.
Right. So it's all. I don't have to. I mean, like, really, you're not diminishing your role.
It's not going to affect the company. I'm glad to say.
Okay. One last question I got to ask: are we in a situation where we could see $60 oil? Because sometimes people are selling these stocks, yours, EOG, some of the others, as if it's going to 60.
No, I don't believe it. In fact, I think oil will be back at 90 before you know it. And so,
what makes you feel that? If we know that the Saudis are pumping and Iran is pumping,
these guys are not going to do that long. They've never done it long. How many of these we've been through? I can count 5. So they've never done it very long.
And how much of it just speculators got the wrong side of the trade here?
Well, that'll work out. A lot of speculators do have the wrong side of the trade.
Okay.
And so if they keep shorting, it'll bite them.
So this level today, this breakdown to 81, may be closer to a bottom than it is to.
I think it's very close. I thought it was probably 85. We've got a couple things that's got to change and quickly. And
okay.
And the flip of Brent and WTI right now, Brent's ahead yet.
Right.
With what's going on over there, it should be behind by $2 or $3.
Right, but if we could
ahead.
export, it would be so much better, right?
It would. I mean, we're exporting 4 million barrels a day of what this consumer needs. That's gasoline and diesel.
Absolutely.
And I don't think everybody realizes that. I don't see any cars running around burning crude oil.
No, they're
or
not.
Jet airplanes.
Very good point. Okay, that's Harold Hamm, Chairman, CEO of Continental Resources, COR. He did say, look, we could slow things down. But obviously oil, he thinks, is not crashing here. Mad Money's back after the break.